All right. I got 2 weeks again to cover because, you know, you guys tried and failed to do V-Time without me.
We almost had it down, but I fell asleep. So I'll take that one on me. Because I had it planned.
And then sleep said no.
Sleep said no.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of V-Time, episode 221. This Hector?
Yes, I was listening.
Yeah, you were. What were you doing?
I was listening. I was just, doing a little cable management to my side here.
Valid. Anyway, we got a jam-packed episode. We got the one last card we were supposed to cover for set 3. That was a Regalis piece. And then we got 3 amazing cards to cover for Lyrical Booster Set 1. As well as some other little bits here and there. As well as actually a lot of bit of news. So, if everyone goes correctly, this should be a normal-ish episode.
Not bad. Little side note, apparently Aichi's win rate is higher than Chrono's.
Well, yeah, Aichi was the better main character.
Arguably, very much. They're both technically better than our current main character, but at least the anime overall is kind of better than what it was. Are we talking about win percentage, or are we talking about like the actual character themselves?
Character themselves. Oh, and granted, I am talking about original Overdress character. The new DZ character might be above everybody else.
Well, yeah, we're talking about the ZZ because Akina does look better than Yu. Yu was just trash, no offense to
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get this started.
Hey, yes, package for Mr. Top Deck Heroes.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks. Mr. Top Deck Heroes? Mr. Top Deck Heroes, your package. Man, another one? What is with this guy? Mr. Top Deck Heroes. Again.
Oh, Mediel again.
Mr. Top Deck Heroes, your package. Oh, God, thank you, that was heavy. What's in that one?
Oh, trading cards.
Cards. Was every one of them cards?
Yeah.
How can you afford that?
Oh, that's interesting you say that. I got it from the Joyful Bit.
Secret.
Man, these people are crazy.
It's no secret. 50 cards. Use code TDHeroes for a discount.
Starting us off with, of course, the Regalis piece, the one of the double rare. This is actually our first Regalis piece that's a double rare rarity. This was a little bit predicted by myself and Alex and everybody else because we were looking at the ratios for set 3 and there were 19 triple rares. So if a Regalis piece was a triple rare, that would throw off ratios, which ratios are already thrown off for this set, but besides the point, it wouldn't have made sense. It being a double rare made a lot more sense, and huzzah, here we are. And this is our new Regalis piece, Blitz Order, Grade 2, Protection Twin Cast. Now, one thing you immediately notice about the Regalis piece is the fact that it has 3 text bubbles. Usually we got up to 2 with something like a mask, but no, this time we have 3 text bubbles, and for good reason. The first text bubble is, of course, the fact that it is a Regalis piece, that you can only have one of this in your deck of Toll, and then you can only use it once a game before it loses its ability. The actual Regalis piece effect, the Blitz Order effect, is choose one of your units being attacked, and it gets 10k power until the end of that battle. So 10k shield, Blitz Order is overall not bad. Why is this a Regalis piece? Well, the third ability makes the difference. Continuous. This card's auto ability can be resolved even if you have resolved a Regalis piece ability this fight. Auto drop. When your unit is attacked, remove this card from drop, choose one of your units being attacked, and it gets 5k until the end of that battle for each grade of that unit. So it's a 2-in-1 Regalis piece.
Now, this just might be me being dumb, but wouldn't grade 3 be 20k? Because it's grade 0, 1, 2, and 3.
No, 0 is not a grade. It's not for every grade that exists, that every grade that it has. So it's a grade 3. So 3 times 5 is 15.
Alright, just making sure. Because, technically grade 0 does exist. We have triggers that you can call. So,
Yes, but how much is 0 times 5?
Listen, just because 0 doesn't mean anything, it's something that it eats everything. It's greedy. Doesn't mean that it doesn't exist.
We're not going to have a young Sheldon moment where we're going to talk about if 0 exists or not, or if it's real or not. So that out of the way, I like this Blitz order a lot, honestly. So any deck that doesn't really or can't really use a normal Regalis piece, a normal order Regalis piece, or anything of that sorts, this honestly is an easy add one of if you can fit the space in, because not only is it a 10k shield, which can sometimes come up, you guard with it, a 15k attack to the 10k grade 2, a 23, an 18k attack to your 13k grade 1, grade 3, yada yada yada. 10k shields do pop up and are useful. The fact of the matter is that you can double dip, and the best part about the double dip is in grade 3 Vanguard decks, it's a 15k shield. In grade 4 Vanguard decks, it's a 20k shield. And if you're for some reason playing Regalis, you're on the grade to 10 or grade 11, it can be a 50 to 55k shield and drop.
Yeah.
Which, damn. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely not bad, considering to the other Blitz defensive that we have.
The other Blitz defensive is a little bit of a if it happens type of deal. It's nice to have a 25k shield that's a Soul Blast one with the added ability of, oh, my opponent did the funny. But you can't really predict when your opponent's going to do the funny. So, it's basically just 25k shield when you use it.
No, the only time you can predict it if it's like Regalis.
There is another regular Speed Blitz order, the promo, which I've honestly forgotten exactly what it does. I'm pulling it up right now.
The one that has Regalis thing? I forgot what it does too.
It's called Union the Sky. It also had 3 text bubbles, funnily. It was play this with Cannon Blast 1 or Energy Blast 3 as a Blitz order, or Energy Blast 3. You drew a card, remove this, and Vanguard gained 50 until the end of that battle. Then you could bind a card with the same card name as your Vanguard from your drop or soul, and it gets 25 instead of 15. So it was honestly, this Blitz order is not that bad because it's 15k shield and draws a card, or 25k shield if you can remove your Vanguard from the appropriate zones. So overall, this is a really good Blitz order because it drew your card back. And I do like the other effect that if you discard it from hand while riding, you can Energy Blast 1 or Cannon Blast 1 to draw a card and move from the game. So I had a double use.
I now see why Japan likes to run this one a lot.
Yeah, it's a big shield value that draws a card, and if you see it early and you don't have a good ditch target, at least it'll draw you a card again. Honestly, both Blitz order regular pieces are amazing, which make Transfer a little bit lackluster now.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough of the regular piece. We got to actually move on to sound Lyrical Set 3. And the first ride line support we're going to look at is Mediel. So Hector, take us away. Take us away and then we'll talk.
Okay, cool. So this one's a grade 2 called Like a Candy Kukrovi. I'm probably butchering their name. When this unit is placed on rear guard, if you have a Vanguard with Mediel in its card name, look at the top card of your deck, put it into the top or discard it. If you discarded a card, this unit gets plus 5k until the end of turn. 15k attacker. Not bad.
Yeah. And it helps discard and look at the top card of your deck. So you can either leave it on top or discard it. And so you can either just, leave a trigger or leave a specific unit or discard a specific unit you might want to drop. We're going to talk about real quick Mystical Knight Look Luna. She's a grade 1 triple rare for Mediel that says
Auto when this unit is placed on rearguard, if you have a Vanguard Mediel in its card name, you can Counter Blast 1, Energy Blast 3, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose up to 2 normal units without Sentinel from among them, reveal them, choose up to 1 card from among the revealed cards, put it into hand, and discard the rest of the revealed cards, and then shuffle your deck. So it's a really cool top 7, add 1 to hand, add 1 to drop. So Hector, do you by chance...
I have no idea what the fuck Mediel does.
Okay, so original Mediel's effect was the fact that you could Counterblast 2, look at the top card of your deck. If it was a normal unit, you got to call a card from drop and give it a crit. And if it was a trigger unit, you could still call a card from drop. It wouldn't gain the crit, but you could countercharge 1.
Okay, fair enough.
So it was basically like a weird stockade deck with Grave Recursion. You had cards that made the CB2 cost a CB1, Soul Blast 1 cost basically. It was interesting. Then you had Trick or Treat support that you introduced a card that said when it goes to Soul, when your Vanguard would call 1 card with the ability, it would call 2. So then Mediel will call 2 cards, and if you revealed a normal unit, both cards would be double critical. And she does have a rear guard that says that when your Vanguard attacks, or at the end of the battle that your Vanguard attack, you can Soul Blast 1 and restand it. So it had restanding double critical rear guards.
Okay, fair enough.
So imagine 5 attacks where 4 of them are double critical from rear guards.
Fuck that.
Yeah. The only downside was the rear guard only gained 5k from itself. Mediel didn't give power. So on a Persona right turn, they'd be 25 on their own, which is not that big of a number.
Okay, that's probably the upside to that.
Now here's the new Mediel, the new dress up, Constellate Solace Mediel. Of course, she's got the dress up ability, which basically means that during the fight, this card is also regarded as the other card. Therefore, you could activate effects to specifically say this name, or be able to Persona ride one on top of the other. So just a nice, dress up ability as we've seen. Here's the new Mediel's effect. Continuous Vanguard during your turn. If your drop has a grade 3 card with Mediel in its card name, all of your front row units gain 5k power. So it's an immediate mini Persona ride if you have another grade 3 Mediel, which with this one you have about 7 copies potentially in your deck. Its other ability as... Yeah, what now?
I was like, it makes it easier that way to get to the 5k.
Exactly. And then its other ability is Act Vanguard once per turn, Counter Blast 1, Soul Blast 1, choose a card from your drop, call it to rearguard, and reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a normal unit, draw a card, and the unit called by this effect gets critical +1 until the end of turn.
Okay, so pretty much like its old effect, but just a little bit more.
Yeah. Now the card that reduces its cost is no longer useful because it never reduced the cost and made the cost Counter Blast 1. So the only thing you can really do is use it to make this a Counter Blast 1 instead of a Counter Blast 1 Soul Blast 1. But the grade 1 itself is a Soul Blast 1 to activate the ability, so the grade 1 itself is kind of dead now.
Okay.
Excuse me a sec. Holy shit, I don't know what's going on. But now with all the Mediel stacking, top decking, and all that, because Mediel doesn't have a lot of the cards that let you look at the top, put it into Soul, leave it on top, yada yada yada. If you play the Trick or Treat grade 2, it goes to Soul, lets you call 2 with the Vanguard's ability instead of 1. Now you look at a top card somehow, you see a normal unit, you activate her ability, you draw that normal unit, you call 2 of the grade 2 that can restand on attack or on at the end of battle, and give them both crits. And now those are going to be 15Ks attacking into a grade 3, but 20Ks attacking into a grade 3 on a Persona Ride, 30Ks attacking into a grade 3. So it's a little bit better numbers.
Yeah, a little bit better numbers. I mean, it still isn't as like deadly as like it potentially could be just yet.
You say this, but try being on the receiving end. Like I said, of 5 swings, 4 of which are already double critical without triggers, while you're at grade 2.
Yeah, that's the. Oh, that's. Oh, jeez, this thing has no.
This thing has no restriction. The restanders have no restriction on the restand. They only have restriction on the power from themselves. So even with that, you don't persona right. Let's say you don't have a back row, which is going to be hard with Mediel because you have so much filtering and selective finding and yada yada yada. Even without a back row, this is still 15-15 double critical against a grade 2. So that's 10k shields, which most people don't really have, which means you're just wasting 15k shields. And let's be real here, Mediel has ride line calling from drop. It has cards that can, find other cards, like we saw the grade 1.
Yeah.
And then it has access to the Easter card. The Easter card says that when it boosts, and if you have a Mediel Vanguard, you give a unit 5k power. So it can be a 13k booster, and then the 5k persists on that unit. So that unit's just staying big for the restand, for example. And then you have another card that says, hey, the thing in front of me is constantly gaining 5k power while I exist on the board.
Yeah, that start to get a little bit more ridiculous now.
Exactly. So Mediel is nothing to sneeze at. Alright, we're gonna move on to the next double rare that kinda showed up between the weeks.
So this one's a grade 3, is that a normal order? It's a grade 3 normal order. Welcome to the Star Festival, which, by the way, I'm assuming is the entire thing because I see stars every fucking where.
Yep, it's Celestial themed.
Celestial star themed. Alright, well, it's the effect of it is this. Play this with cost counter +1. Choose 3 grade 0s from your drop and put them into your soul. If you put 3 critical, draw a card. Interesting effect.
Dude, don't ask me. This is a generic normal order. It doesn't really go into any deck immediately from the top of my head. It's interesting. It's counter +1 soul charge 3.
With the potential of drawing back.
Exactly. I honestly don't know where to put it.
What's his name? Unica would love this.
I've already made that joke. Don't at me. It's nice. If any deck is really hurting for soul, this is a nifty addition. I feel like we're gonna see something that will need this more than others, but right now it's like, alright, cool, it exists.
Yeah, because it doesn't take away, it doesn't randomly soul charge. It just takes away something that you're not even using to bring back.
You know where this might be cool in? This could be really cool in Sienna. Just soul charge 3 crits, you get to draw a card, and now you have crits in your soul for your abilities.
Yeah, you're right. That's a possibility.
There were other cards that got revealed with this card that I'm not going to mention, and also worked around triggers and soul and stuff like that. So there's some generic support here and there for it, but we're actually going to have to move on to the main course. This deck potentially got upgraded to the moon. When we tested the testing would hinge on an idea that we're going to have. But we're going to be talking about Llifa, the Bastion Lyrical, the Keter Lyrical, the grade 3, grade 2, full of grade 2, grade 3's Lyrical deck. It's a Giant Girl deck, whatever you want to call it. You know what that deck does, right?
Yes, I remember what that deck does.
Cool. Well, we're going to start off with a rare grade 2 that says Immersed in Ripples of Nias. Her ability is auto. When this unit is placed on rearguard, other than during the battle phase, if you have a Vanguard Llifa in its card name, Soul Blast 2 cards with Llifa in their card names. Look at top 5 cards of your deck. Choose up to 1 grade 2 or greater unit card with a different card name from this unit from among them. Call it to rearguard and shuffle the deck. Honestly, not a bad card effect, all things considered. Soul Blasting 2 Llifas might sound like a big cost, but there exists a grade 2 for Llifa that says on place, choose a Llifa from your drop zone and put it into your soul, and I think it gained 5k power.
I mean, for the first time, you have your, if not I'm mistaken, the entire ride line has the Llifa name, doesn't it?
Yes.
So you Soul Blast your ride line the first 2 times if you wanted to, if you Persona Rod by the time you get to that.
Yeah. And if you don't Persona Ride, you can Soul Blast the right line once, use the grade 2 I mentioned to put a Llifa back, so now you have another use for the next turn if you really need it.
Yeah, so it's definitely playable in there.
You should read the next card.
Is that another giant girl? She looks like a giant. No, she's a regular human.
You draw
Anyway.
regular human.
Alright, so it's a grade 3. Name is Frolic Hopper Funat. Skill says Continuous Rearguard or Guardian Circle. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Llifa on its card name, this unit gets plus 10k power and 10k shield. Active on opponent's turn 2. That's really good right off the bat. Auto, at the end of the battle, this unit attacked while boosted by a grade 2 or greater unit, cost Energy Blast 3. Choose one of your grade 2 or greater rear guards and return it to your hand. That's not bad at all.
Nope. So Hector, I'm going to refresh your memory on the original Llifa real quick. It had the ability that Soul Blast 1, I believe for that effect you needed the full board. So yeah, if you had a full board, you could Soul Blast 1 and all of your grade 2 or greater units gained boost. And then it had the unfortunate effect of at the end of the battle, you could choose 2 of your rear guards, bounce into hand for 1 CB to call one grade 3 card from your hand to rear guard. And then had a grade 2 that went to the soul for a CB to draw your card to call another grade 3 from hand. So it had 5 attack potential. The only problem is it was an end of battle skill, so you'd miss your trigger applications to your rear guards that just came in. The new Llifa, however, fixed all that, because we have Brightest Dreamer Llifa. Of course, the dress up ability, so you can run it with the old one. The first ability is a real kicker. Continuous Vanguard, all of your grade 2 or greater rear guards get boost, and all of your other grade 3 units with Llifa in their card names get 20k shield. So you can run 4 copies of the old one now in the deck, because you want to run this in the ride line, and you have 4 20k shields additional to everything else. Bastion would love this. Anyway, her new ability now fixed the biggest problem, because now it's auto Vanguard when this unit attacks. If all of your units are grade 2 or greater, Counterblast 1, choose up to 3 of your rear guards, return them to hand, choose up to 2 grade 3 cards from your hand, call each of them to rear guard in the same column.
This
Big
definitely,
upgrades.
yeah, it definitely got a huge upgrade.
So now you can bounce 3 cards, call 2, and those 2 are already a good column, and do shenanigans. And because it's when attack, the grade 2 card I mentioned that goes into soul, Counterblast 1, draws a card, calls another grade 3, is triggered when you call or when you bounce a card to hand with the Vanguard's ability. So now you get to Llifa, 3 to hand, 2 to board. The grade 2 triggers, goes to soul, draws a card, another card to board. And you have cards in Llifa that say, oh, I got placed onto the board, call a card behind me, give it boost. And if it's the main phase draw, if it's a battle phase, I gain 10k. So you can bounce 3, call 2, put a card to soul, draw, call 2 more. And all of this happens one attack, which means now you can finally put trigger power and crit power onto rear guards instead of wasting crits in Llifa.
This is actually really good.
It actually gets super big columns, because you've played Bastion, so you understand how big grade 3 columns can get.
Like, I understand the big columns, what they can get. They easily get into 40s and 50s, no problems.
So there's the card I mentioned. There's a grade 3 Easter card, I think it's Halloween. Basically, there's a grade 3 card for Llifa that says, on place, choose a card from your hand that's a grade 3. I think it might be grade 2 or greater, but regardless, choose a card from your hand, call it to behind it. It gains boost for the turn. So, and then depending on what phase it is, you do 1. So if it's your main phase, you draw a card. If it's a battle phase, the original grade 3 gains 10k power. So it was a really good card to go, okay, place the thing booster behind it, draw a card, and then yada yada yada. Now let's say you have those columns and you have the new grade 3. You have a column that's 26. If it doesn't gain any other power any other way. You have a column that's 36 because the new grade 3 just gains 10k because it exists. Or technically the other column would be the grade 2 multi-attacker boosted by grade 3. So let's say that's 23, which is still a good number. And this is all without Persona, I imagine you. And then you bounce your board, you call a new board, you have 2 new columns. The column with the new grade 3 is 36. Again. Potentially 41, because if you play an Easter card that says on plays by Vanguard's ability Soul Blast 2, countercharge 1, gain 5k. So now you have a 41 column. And then the other column, if you call the grade 2 from the Halloween set I was mentioning, is, let's say, 2 grade 3s, right? Let's say you call the Llifa because you could. That's a 26-36 column on its own.
It's not bad at all.
No. And this is before triggers.
Yeah, which
and then
makes it...
because you called your Llifa to the back, you can use the new one, Energy Blast 3, and bounce to the hand. So now you have your 20k shield back in hand.
Yeah. You know, one of the
deck has potentials.
You know what a funny thing about this is? Literally about a week ago, I'm looking at the prices. You could get the copy of the grade 3 for less than $1. Now it's at minimum about $9.
Yeah, there's super potential Lyfa now. Lyfa is not a deck that needs that. If you do correct combos, the grade 1 ride line effect lets you call a grade 3 behind the Vanguard and give it boost. If you call specific cards, it can call another card that's a grade 3 onto the board into the back row already. So you can basically have 2 grade 3s on the board on turn 2. One's going to be behind the Vanguard, but still.
I mean, it's when I was looking at lyrical decks to pick up before, like way back then, I think it was Halloween. Lyfa was actually the one that I was looking at, even though many people online were saying it was shit.
It was. Now it's finally good. You know what's the best part? Forbidal goes hard in this because you have so many grade 3s. You can actually do this. You can Forbidal into the new grade 3 and a Persona Ride. And then use the new grade 3's ability, Energy Blast 3, and bounce a Persona Ride after it's useful as a booster.
Forbidal gonna be going back up again.
Oh yeah. Anyway, that was Lyfa. Now we actually go into promos. And we have a very interesting promo lineup. We have 6 new promos. There are going to be shop challenges, yada, yada, yada. 3 of which support the quick start decks, and 3 of which support 3 specific decks. Which means more than likely the next promo cycle we get, the new 6 promos we get down the road, we're going to see the same kind of promos for the quick start decks for the other 3 quick start decks that did not get support this time around.
And possibly 3 other decks. Well, the other 3 cards that are being supported for other decks were also the original decks. Because one
was. 2 of them were, 1 wasn't.
Yeah, I forgot what the third one is. But anyways.
Hector, start us off with the first one.
So the first one is a grade 1 Dragon Empire called Construct Golem. The effect auto is in the drop zone. When your grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Triumph Dragon and its card name is placed during your ride phase, if you do not have a rearguard with the same card name as this card, call Soul Blast 1 and call this card to rearguard. If you call the card, and you charge 1. Actually not bad. Persona Ride and get more stuff.
Not even Persona, just ride grade 3 normally.
That too. But, you know, other stuff. Other skill, auto rearguard. At the end of the battle, this unit boosted a unit with strafe command in its card name. If you did not countercharge this or cost, put this unit into soul and countercharge 1.
Are you wondering what strafe command is?
No, strafe command is the grade 3 support that was in set 1.
Correct.
So this is essentially working to help out with the quick start decks to get it more support, getting it more effects, and working in tune with its support.
I like what they're doing, and I don't like what they're doing. So I like the fact that they're supporting the quick start decks in this way. The thing I don't like about it is that all of the Quick Start decks are basically following the same cookie cutter deck recipe. You're running the Quick Start deck boss unit as your boss unit, of course. Then you're running the grade 3 support card that came with it because it's just too good. Then you're running the grade 1 support card that came in set 2 with it because it's just that good. And now you're running the this grade 1 promo that's just that good. And all of them share similar type abilities that just do other different things depending on what quick start deck you have. But they all do basically the same thing. Like the grade 3s somehow find a way to do a similar mechanic as well as draw a card, yada yada yada. All the grade 1s do a similar thing of putting a Persona Ride back to deck and doing a specific mechanic for the deck. And all of these promos that we're going to look at are going to do the exact same thing of being called to drop from drop, but their second ability that's going to support boost the support card are also going to do something depending on what the deck wants. So they're all cookie cutter similar abilities just to do the gimmick for the deck. And it's like, okay, these decks are getting built themselves.
I mean, in a way, that's kind of nice to look at it. Like, you can consider like an Amber clone, like every single card in G had. But it's kind of nice to see it, considering it's just a quick start deck. It wasn't a deck to be like, you know, here's the new for the new.
I just wish these had a little bit more identity and weren't so cookie cutter. Because this is exactly what I'm going to mean. We're going to look at another version of this promo for Keter, surgical scissoring, right? It's the same thing. It's a grade 1 like the other one. It has the same first ability. Auto drop when your grade 3 grade Vanguard Survivor Alien's card name is placed during your ride phase. If you do not have a rearguard, same card name, soul plus 1, call this a rearguard, and if you call the energy, charge 1. It's the same cookie cutter first ability. The second ability, what it does is different, but in the same condition, auto rearguard. At the end of the battle, this unit boosted a unit with Viral Core, which is the grade 3 support card and its card name. Put this unit into your soul, choose one of those boosted rearguards and return it to hand. So instead of countercharging one, it bounces Viral Core back to your hand, which is good because Viral Core, if I remember correctly, was a kind of like an energy charge, counter charge type card, right?
Something along those lines, yeah.
So yeah. So it's the same cookie cutter grade 1, it's just what it does is different. It just does everything the same way. It has to boost the specific grade 3, it will go to soul, and it'll do an effect that's theme related or helps the deck in some shape or form. Everything else is just cookie cutter the same.
I mean, it isn't bad. Like, to me, just because it is the quick start deck, that, you know, doesn't really matter if it's cookie cutter. You know,
they're really I'm conflicted because they're really making these quick starter decks not have an identity. So they're good for learning the mechanics and having a very simple way to play them. So if people pick up the necessary support cards and get these promos for them, they're very straightforward. They're really good learner decks. But at the same time, it's like people are Velstra mains, people are Bruce mains, Bastion mains, Youthberg, Zorga, yada yada. You have these big cards with big identities. Nobody's gonna say, I'm a Triumph Dragon main, I'm a Savarael main, I'm an Oslargist main. Like, there's no identity behind those cards.
I mean, from the very beginning, they never did have an identity besides an artwork, considering their only effect was the search for Persona Ride and one effect that was catered to their nation.
I was just hoping they'd be... read the last one for the last quick start deck before I mention a really cool fact.
This one is a grade 1 Happy Influencer Racia for the Lyrical deck. Same thing, if it's a grade 3 or greater, drop with Marlene or however your name is, goes into soul, call it, and charge 1. At the end of this unit boosted the unit with Respiro, which is their grade 3 support. Put in the soul, choose one of the units with Respino's card name, and until the end of turn, reduce the cost for that unit's original auto by Counterblast 1. Interesting.
Do you need a reminder what it does?
I have no idea what the fuck the Lyrical one even does.
So the Lyrical one's ability, real quick, is when this unit is returned to hand from rearguard, if you have a Vanguard with Merlin in its card name, Counterblast 1, draw a card. So basically Grade 1 makes it to where when you bounce it back to hand and call it again with Marlene, it's a free draw card instead of counter+1 draw card.
Okay, that's fair. Why did it just say countercharge 1 rather than, reduce the counter?
Because sometimes you won't have CB open, because Marlene herself, I believe, is also a counterblast. So let's say you have only one CB available, right? You attack. I don't know. They could have made it countercharge 1. I don't know, okay? It's different. Otherwise, it'd be the same thing as the Dragon Empire one. So they have to make it different. See what I mean about cookie cutter? See?
It's fair. It's cookie cutter, but still.
This is one fact about all of these promos that is actually really cool for the quick start decks. One major downside about every single quick start deck boss unit is the fact that their abilities were Energy Blast 4, which meant two things. You could not really run any other card that Energy Blasted, and especially if you went first, you could only do your Vanguard's effect 3 times, right? If my math's correct, 3 times in a row. You couldn't do it the 4th time. The 4th time you would lose the necessary energy to do it. Remember we were testing them, it's like I Persona Rose twice, and then the 3rd time it's like, well, I don't have the energy for my effect.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the match between me and Lon, and I think both of us got to that point to where we couldn't use our effects anymore.
Exactly. These energy charge 1 where they're placed. So regardless of situation, you're always going to have your Vanguard effect because you energy charge 3 at the start of your turn. You're not going to have a copy of this, so you just Soul Blast 1, call it, gain another energy. Now you're at 4. Now you can activate your Vanguard's ability. So quality of life, let's say it like that.
You know what I just realized? If it hadn't, for the Cater one, if it didn't say that it had to boost specifically the Viral Core, they would have abused the fuck out of it, because call one during Persona Ride, call another one when, the Angel attacks, do more shenanigans.
Oh, 100%. Alright, moving on to 3 more promos that support specific decks. Alright, time for a rant.
I'm gonna sit back here.
First one is gonna be a boost support card. It's a grade 1 called Diabolos Striker or Lind. His effect has 2 effects. First one, auto, when this card is discarded from hand or put into soul from deck during your turn, if you have a Vanguard Diabolos card name, which is basically gonna be at all times, you can Energy Blast 3 and call this card to open back or rear guard. Basically making it to where you can always have it on board. Which is not bad, honestly, this is a good effect. The second effect, auto back row center rear guard once per turn at the end of the battle that your rear guard attack. If you are in final rush, retire 2 front row rear guards with Diabolos in their card names, draw a card, choose one of your back row rear guards, and move it to open rear guard circle. Now, I'll immediately say this. Honestly, this is a really strong effect. Done right, and we're going to talk about both grade 4 and grade 3 Violence Bruce, so both Final Rush and Final Burst decks. This is a really strong effect that just extends your attacks and can do a lot of damage. My biggest issue with this card is the fact that it doesn't solve either Bruce's biggest problem. Grade 4 Bruce's, you're not doing anything for the first 3 turns, you're vanilla. Violence problem, you're still only doing potentially minimal stuff and not plussing back the hand as much as you need to compete with other decks. Now, after a lot of time and a lot of reading other people's comments and thinking for myself and yada yada yada, this card is 100% better in Violence than grade 4. However, in grade 4, it can potentially extend more attacks, yada yada yada. So, overall, I really don't like this card, because it does not help Bruce's main problem. It is not a card that put Bruce back on the map, sadly. But I do see its potential. So, here's its best use, and then I'm going to talk about its strongest use. Its best use is environment. You can discard it,
So you have a free ditch target, put it behind the Vanguard, huzzah, you have an early game booster. But here's the biggest thing. Violent's struggle is the fact that you cannot multi-attack while your opponent, while you're Final Rush. You have to be Final Burst, which means your opponent has to be grade 3. This solves one problem to where you can achieve 4 attacks, even 5 attacks in Violence while your opponent is still a grade 2. It'll take a lot of resources, this is the only downside, but it's still feasible. Because Violence activates Final Rush at the beginning of battle phase, even if your opponent's a grade 2, which doesn't help his multi-attack, but does activate this card's effect. So what you do is you swing with something in the front row, swing with something Vanguard, swing with another thing in the front row, and then you can use this effect because you are in Final Rush, kill those 2, draw a card, and move something from the back row forward, and you have 4 attacks that way while your opponent's still a grade 2 in Violence. So the feasibility is there. If you went second in your Final Burst, you get your multi-attack already from Violence. If you're running the set 12 card or the 13 card, I don't remember which one it is, you get your 5 attacks, and then combined with this, you can get up to 6 attacks in Violence. Cool. This is actually really good. Here's the end-all be-all. There is a grade 3 in Diabolos that I'm going to attempt to find real quick that has a very interesting ability that plays really well in Violence specifically. It can also play in grade 4, so you can kind of switch these between, but it's a grade 3 called Devon, Diabolos Charger Devon. Auto rearguard, when your rearguard stands, if you are in Final Rush, this unit gets 5 until the end of turn. Includes every unit and includes itself. So if you count all the restands that Violence can do, and you do all the correct things, and if you want to go that extra mile, you can run the festival set order that lets choose one of your units and lets it boost. So you can choose this grade 3 in the back row and have it boost. So you have a column swing boosted with this grade 3. Violence does his thing, restands a column. The grade 2 support cards does his thing, restands a column. So that's 4 restands. So he's already gaining plus 20k power. And then you do another attacks, you use the promo and move this guy forward. So now he's a 33k attacker on his own. That's not bad one bit.
Not bad, not bad.
So you have potential for strong attacks and powerful attacks. And like I said, you can mix and match these between grade 4. Here's another avenue of attacks that's potentially can be even stronger. If you put Richard behind in the back row and save your CB, not Richard, Julian, and save your CB, you could swing rearguard, swing Vanguard, restand columns, swing rearguard, kill the front rows, move Julian forward, Julian swings, counter +1, soul charge 1 or 2 depending on your damage, and call another card from soul because now you have an open front row rearguard.
Yeah, that's more potential for that. I'm seeing that now.
And you can do this. Julian is not grade 3 restricted. He's just Bruce restricted. So you can do this while your opponent's a grade 2. So you can have rearguard, Vanguard, rearguard, move Julian forward, rearguard. You can have 5 attacks in Violence Bruce while your opponent is at grade 2. If you really want to go the extra mile and have 2 CB open and 2 Julians, you can swing with the first Julian, call something to the other column, swing with that column, swing with Vanguard, swing with that column, kill those, draw a card, move the other Julian, another CB, call another one. So basically for 2 cards out of your hand, 2 Julians specifically, you can have 5 attacks in Violence and basically draw 3 cards back because Twin Drive and draw 1 card. So there is some value there.
I see it now. I can see why people are like kind of torn in between this, but mostly are saying that it is kind of a decent card.
It is a decent card. I don't think it's enough to put Bruce on the map, because Bruce still suffers the biggest problem of if something kills your board, or if you need to just make a big board,
you're not plussing anything back. Out of all the decks that we currently have that were after set 6, like Llifa, Bruce, Velshred, Diva, stuff like that, this is the Violence is the least plussing out of all of them. It has really good push, but then does it kind of suffer in the hand size.
I mean, yeah, the fact that it also does get rid of your entire front row. It moves it up, you know, it gets extra attack, but it also does get rid of your front row.
Exactly, and you only draw one card back, which is like, man, this sometimes can feel bad.
Well,
there's potential.
You know, there's potential, but you know, it fits Bruce's playstyle. Go hard and go home.
We'll be testing it out. As much as I would love to test out the Grade 4 version of this deck, I tested out the Grade 4 version of Bruce right now, and it's just too slow, man. Like, you're really playing 3 turns of vanilla with Grade 4 Bruce right now. Your turn 3 just feels so bad. You have no effects that do anything. You just string 3 times. Like, man, it just feels bad to play Grade 4 Bruce right now. Anyway, rant over. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Moving on. Let's talk about the other 2 promos. Hector, you get probably the fucking GOAT of all the promos, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I know shit about Welstra. It's a grade 1, like all the rest of them are, I believe. If not the other one, whatever it is. It's called Blitz, Sales, Aster. And then auto, when this card is discarded from your hand during your turn, if you have Vanguard with Blitz in its card name, you put this card into your soul. If you put a card, counter charge 1 or energy charge 1. 2, my bad, 2. That already is good. Shit. Continuous Guardian Circle. If you have a Vanguard Blitz in its card name, this unit gets 5k plus shield. Damn. And then continuous Regret. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Wealth in its card name, this unit gets plus. This card just does everything.
It really does. I'm sad you can't run 8 copies of this.
Like, what the fuck? I don't know shit about Welstra. I don't know shit about Welstra that much, but like I know just general effects. This is too much.
This is perfect. What are you talking about too much? This is perfect.
Bullshit.
I'll tell you this. Most of the time, you want to use it for its first ability. To be able to counter charge, to be able to soul charge, to have a ditch target. That's its primary use in Velshred, to build those resources so that other cards can do more. This makes Freiheit free. You can call Freiheit, counterblast 1, discard this card, add a Persona Rat or order to hand and do your things, and then this card will be put yourself in the soul and countercharge 1. This makes Freiheit free.
Yeah, see, that's why I say it does too much. It can do that and it does its main thing, but it also has other things. You know, other cards don't do as much.
If you really need it, it's a 10k shield. It will feel very bad if you use it as a 10k shield, but if you need it, it's there. And then it's a 13k booster or even 13k attacker. That's the best part about Welstra. If you really want to kind of start comboing off, you can just put this card in the front, depending on your outcomes. Attack with it, it's a 13k whatever, boosted whatever, and then just bounce it back to hand with maximum. So now you have it in hand for your ditch effects or if you need a 10k shield.
Yeah, this card be doing too much.
This card be doing a lot. This card be really doing a lot. I can't wait to test this out in Welstra because now I'm very torn. Welstra, the way it's built for me right now, has always shared slots. Or you always max 2 grade 1s out. And depending on what your playstyle is, depending on what the grade 1s were. With this card, I might be changing some ratios around. And instead of being 2 main grade 1s that do things, it might be 3 grade 1s. Not at 4 of, some maybe 3 ofs. Because I want to play this at 4 of. I want to play the new set, grade 2, grade 1 from set 2 at a potential 3 or 4. And I still want to potentially be playing Boba mains because Boba main just comes in handy so many. Boba main comes in clutch.
Yeah, this
or maybe still Heinz. I don't know. There's a lot of testing to do, but basically I want to run 3 main grade 1s now. You don't remember what the grade 1 from set 2 does, right?
Grade 1 from set 2. No, I don't know
If
shit
you
about
have,
this.
If you have 2 blitz orders, if you have 2 set orders, it's a 13k booster. if you have one set order, or you have to be grade 3. If you're grade 3 and have 2 set orders, it's a 13k booster or attacker. If you have one set order at any time, at the end of the battle that it boosted, it goes into soul, so it makes more soul, which Velshire likes. Lets you look at top 5 cards of your deck, add a grade 2 or greater normal unit or a set order from among them to hand, and shuffle the deck.
True, true.
So it's
Quick
a booster, it goes to soul, and a deck fins.
Quick question. The Q-Start deck's name is also Blitz, right?
Yes.
So it also works with Blitz.
Yeah, you can run this in that deck in I forgot the name of it, but yes, you can run that in that deck as a counter charger, energy charger, and 10k shield. You won't get the 5k, it's only Velshire restricted, but you can run it in there.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Alright. What was that? I don't know. Last card, which should be popping up for some reason isn't. Last promo to talk about is a Maggie promo, would you believe it?
Mm-hmm.
Maggie's slowly getting to that contender spot of, oh, my deck is mostly made out of promos. And this time, Maggie got something called Floppy Lyrical. Whatever. It's a grade 2 promo that has very interesting abilities. Auto when this unit is placed on rearguard, other than during battle phase. If you have a Vanguard with Silverhorn Beast, which is both Maggie and Maggie Mask, in its card name, Energy Blast 3 and perform one of the following. Choose a card with Silverhorn Beast in its card name with grade less than or equal to your Vanguard from your drop and call it to rearguard. So Energy Blast 3, call 1. Or, if your Vanguard is Silverhorn Beast King of Calamity Magnolia Mask, choose a grade 3 or less card with Dragon Tree in its card name from your drop and call it to rearguard. And then auto rearguard when your unit with Silverhorn Beast in its card name is attacked. Retire this unit, choose one of your units being attacked, and it gets powered 10k until the end of that battle.
Mm-hmm. This is not bad at all. Let's see why Alex is hype about it.
So in grade 4 Maggie, it lets you just Energy Blast 3, call another card, so it's a 2 for 1 for 3 energy, which is honestly really good because you have a lot of Silverhorn Beasts that you might want to run in Maggie, grade 4, though, things yada yada yada. In Mass, it's alright, cool, let me make another Dragon Tree marker so that I can do my mechanic type card. Or if you just want to call another Sylvan Beast, you can call another Sylvan Beast. So, this just has mileage in both decks. And on top of that, it can stay in the back row and be a 10k card.
Yeah. It definitely has potential.
You played against enough Maggie, you see the potential here, don't you?
Oh yeah, that's why I'm like hesitant, because this motherfucker is just gonna be a pain in the ass to deal with.
Oh yeah, he will. Anyway, that's gonna be really cool.
It'll be the first card I choose to retire, though.
Yeah, you sure? You sure? Because Maggie Mask has a grade 2 that says, hey, when I intercept, I gain 5 for every Dragon Tree marker.
Yeah, for Mask, it's a different story, but grade 4 Maggie, guess what? I know who I'm taking out first.
Yes. Anyway, overall, those are all the promos. There is one thing that I realized reading this last promo I'm going to really quick rant about. A lot of decks that don't run any energy cards could just, Energy Blast 7, draw a card because their deck's made the main mechanic. We're getting a lot of support cards that do energy, which means most decks no longer can Energy Blast 7 and draw a card because they want to save their energy for other effects like this. Like Maggie didn't have any other effect that Energy Blasted until this card, if I'm mistaken. And so now they're not Energy Blasting 7, but that mentality now, since you're not Energy Blasting 7, you can throw cards in that Energy Blast like the grade 2 cycles. And so forth and so forth. It's like, oh, okay, cool, I have excess energy that I can use for these other effects now. I don't have to, not Energy Blast to save for the 7 to draw a card and just force myself to play these weird cards.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
That makes sense, but I also think about there are plenty of generic cards that go into decks where they use that. For example, the cyclers. Like, even if your deck doesn't have it, you still have a cycler that is generally a good card to put in there. So I guess it's kind of like, it's always there if you want it and or need it. But
so the only downside about the cyclers, if that's the only 8 card that energy blasts, is, and this has come up to me a couple times, is, well, okay, cool. I never saw it. I'm already at energy 9. Do I energy blast 7 here to draw a card since I don't have it in hand anywhere? Or do I save that energy and if I get into it, I can guard with it? Because it's happened to me a couple times where I go energy blast 7, draw a card. Now I'm at 2. And then whatever circumstances, either draw or drive checks, oh look, the energy card. Well, now I'm going to have to use CB if I want to use it.
I mean, that just adds complexity to the game, which many people have been, complaining that we don't have enough complexity in Standard.
Agreed. But cards like this, adding cards that are necessary for decks are necessary. Really good for decks. And our energy is like, okay, cool. I don't have to worry about energy blast 7 because I'm going to be using my energy for these type of effects. I'm going to have the extra needed for those cycle cards now.
Mm-hmm. Or, moments like you said, you can't find it, you can't see it, so we need to go ahead and energy blast 7 to get something.
Exactly. All right, moving on to the last few leaks. Hector, take it away. We got Hazzard this time.
Hazzard, I believe that is a bunny girl.
Yep.
It's a grade 1 called Lambit Planetaria Rafesca. Star color Francesca. Auto rear guard. When this unit attacks, if you have grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Hazzard card name, this unit gets power plus 5k until the end of the battle. At the end of that battle, cost so +1, you turn this unit back to your hand. Is that a 6k?
Yes, Hazzard works around less power, original power units.
Okay, that explains that now. Didn't realize that beforehand.
Yeah. It'll make sense when we read the Hazzard.
Gotcha.
Real quick side note. I wonder whenever Bushiroad commissions people to make these arts, do they commission them with a card name already existing, or do the artists make up the card name? Because, Hector, between this card that we just read and this next card, do you notice anything?
Trails in the Summer Sky, Xenon. Go back to the other one.
Ignore the name. Look at the art.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same position, just different person. It's
like the last guy is just a little bit different. This one, it does look, it's like a little bit brighter versus this one is like,
yeah, because they're different artists, but the positioning is the same.
Yeah, like,
so I was like, did the artists even talk to each other, or did they just like, okay, cool,
and it's like, I'm gonna choose more of a natural, like obviously there's buildings around, so maybe, and you can see more little stars. Maybe this is more like country, or this is like there's less smaller ones, so maybe it's out towards the city in this Central Park.
She's in a planetarium, while this one's outside, but still they're in the same pose.
Yeah, same position, just kind of like, hey, look, they give them a commission. Hey, we need units that are kind of like holding their hands out and trying to pretend to grab a star. Make something with it. Go. Yeah, a blue star.
All right. The unit we're talking about is a grade 2 triple warrior for Hazzard. It's 8k power. A grade 2 with 8k power. Trails in the Summer Sky, Xenon. Auto when this unit is placed on rear from hand. If you have a Vanguard Hazzard card name, choose a critical from your drop, and you may put it on the bottom of the deck, which is already an amazing ability. And then act rear guard once per turn. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard Hazzard card name, counter blast 1, search your deck. Search your deck for up to one grade 2 card with power 9k or less and its different card name from this unit, or up to one grade 1 card with 7k power or less. Call it 2 rear guards, shuffle the deck, and this unit gets power 5k until the end of the turn, making it 13k attacker.
Just enough.
Which is really good. You can find specific pieces that you need specific moments. Hector, do you remember what Hazzard used to do?
I know shit about Hazzard.
Hazzard's main ability was the fact that you could, I believe, Counter Blast 1 or Soul Blast 1, I think it's Soul Blast 1, and give all the units on your board 2k power, and if you gave 3 or more units 2k power, the Vanguard gained 10k power. So it made all of these awkward numbers their normal numbers. 8Ks became 10Ks, 6Ks became 8Ks, yada yada yada. But it also gave them a secondary ability that said, At the end of the battle that this unit attacked, put this unit on the bottom of your deck, draw a card. And this effect was not a cost, which means if you find a way to bounce the card, at the end of the battle you will still draw the card without putting the card on the bottom of the deck.
That's still pretty good.
Exactly. Keep that exact sentence in mind. Because remember, the grade 1 you talked about is, at the end of the attack, yada yada, unit same power, 5k, Soul Blast, and return this unit to your hand. So this unit can attack, Soul Blast 1, bounce itself to hand, and then you would still draw a card from Hazzard's ability without having to put it on the bottom of the deck. Make sense?
It does.
Read the next card.
Ooh, she pretty. I already like the artist. The name is Phosphorescent Stream Hazzard. Obviously, it has the dress up ability, or you can disregard it as the other one. But the other effect is auto Vanguard once per turn.
Act.
Cost. Act, my bad. Act, not auto. Very different. Act once per turn, everything. Energy Blast 3. Choose up to 5 of your normal units, rear guards, until the end of turn. They get auto. At the end of the battle, this unit attack, draw a card, and put this unit on the bottom of the deck and get 2k power. Already see what you were talking about earlier with the grade 1.
Yep.
And then auto Vanguard, beginning of your battle phase, cost Soul Blast 1. All of your units with Hazzard in their card name, grade 3 units with the original power of 12,000 or less, grade 2 with the original power of 9,000 or less, or grade 1 with the original power of 7,000 or less, attack from the back row center column, get 5,000 power. So basically whatever's in the back row center power gets power if it's Hazzard named?
No. Anything, all the units with Hazzard in their card names, grade 3 units, so it does a whole...
If it has Hazzard and its name is in the back row center, it gets power.
Exactly. As well as any unit that's a grade 3 and 12k or less, grade 2 9k or less, or a grade 1 7k. So it's like, it's 4 categories. The way this effect is worded is these 4 categories of cards can get 5k in the back row center and attack from the back row center. So it can be a card with Hazzard in its card name that can do this, a grade 3 with 12k or less, a grade 2 with 9k or less, or a grade 1 with 7k or less. So those 4 categories of cards can attack from the back row with 5k extra power.
Gotcha. That made it more complicated than it needed to.
It's trying to stay on flavor, and I do agree on the complicated part.
Yeah.
Hazzard does have a card that says at the end of the battle that this unit boosted, you can choose one of your... I think it did choose a back row center and moved it forward. I don't remember if it chose back row center or if it chose a back row rear guard and moved it forward.
If it's back row center, then this conflicts with this.
I honestly don't remember. It's too much of a hassle to try to remember, but I think you can do 5 attacks in Hazzard.
I mean, with this already 4.
Excuse me.
Bless you. I mean,
but you see the potential here.
Yeah, I see the potential, and all of that. It's really a good fucking art. That's something I'm getting on. It's just the artist was really good with this one.
Well, you're gonna have to fight with John.
Yeah, I don't have shit for Hazzard or Lyrical.
Right, let's slowly finish this off because we're already past the hour mark. I love how we minimize the amount of cards we're gonna talk about, but because of that, we started ranting more.
I'd say probably at least a good 10 minutes was you and Bruce.
I'm sorry. We're going to talk about a real quick double rare. Sparkling Summer Thumhealy. It's a grade 1 that says, act rear guard at the end of the battle, this unit attacked or boosted, Soul Blast 1 card with a status in a card name and return this unit to your hand. It's a very interesting card for Kairi support. I don't really understand the idea behind it. I'll let some other people that are Kairi mains cook with this, because I feel like this is just a very lackluster ability, but at the same time, having more stuff that kind of bounces to your hand might be something that Kairi needed. However, if I remember correctly, Kairi is very soul shy, so this card is a very coin toss on first read.
Or it's the prelude to Kairi getting a new form.
Kyrie already has a grade 4. Getting a new form is probably not going to happen. And the grade 4 does say whenever something's placed, it gains 5k. So you can place this from hand, and it's a 13k. Bounce to the hand.
No. Like,
and then
I get the grade.
it.
I get the grade 4. That's why all the, like every single one of the old ones have the grade 4. But a lot of them also did have the second form. Bastion Accord, Jiva, Violence Bruce, Mask. So kind of in theme. Yeah.
Only time will tell. Until then, we have to move on. So real quick, I'm going to just talk about this. We're not going to cover all of them. I'm just going to cover one of them, and you guys can look up the other ones. If I can put a link, I'll put a link to a tweet with all of them. But basically, set 1 of DZ saw a lot of erratas for specific lyrical cards. Now, these just made things a little bit more clear on what they did and how they did things. Like I said, if you want to see the full list, you can go click the link. It's not just set 1, but also set 2, actually. Flame G was hit here. One other card was hit here, yada, yada, yada. So there's a decent amount of erratas. They're just worded differently to fit the effects for some reason, because I believe something might be coming that if the cards were worded the way they were, shit would be broken.
Fair,
Make sense?
Fair. Makes sense.
Like, for example, we're going to take Chris Rain. She got errata. Now, her old act ability said, Vanguard once per turn, Cannibals 1, and perform 1 of the following. If you have 4 or more units with different card names, perform 2 instead of 1. And if you have 5 or more, perform all instead of 1. That was her original wording. Her new ability is worded, Act Vanguard once per turn, Cannibals 1, choose any number of your units and perform 1 of the following. If you chose 4 units and all chosen units have different card names from each other, perform 2 instead of 1. And if you chose 5 or more units and all chosen units have different card names from each other, perform all instead of 1. Makes sense?
Okay. It does.
I don't really understand why they had to change it completely like this.
I don't either.
There might be some reasoning somewhere, but for right now, it is what it is. If anybody has a good speculation or actually knows the reason why this errata was made this way in Japanese, and it will also translate into English, I think. Do let us know in the comments down below.
It was only changed for English, right? It wasn't errated for Japanese, because in Japanese, obviously, it's their main language, so they know.
No, these are Japanese erratas. These are official Japanese erratas.
Oh, okay.
You even have new Japanese cards with these new effects on them.
So it is something. It's something that they already fear coming.
Or something, the way the things were worded and interpreted in Japanese, that might have made something not work the way it's supposed to work. Like if we take another card real quick as an example, the grade 2 that you could counter plus 1, energy blast 3, and then call 1 more bounce or call, basically the charisma and support. Its old ability was at auto rearguard when this unit attacks a grade 3 or greater unit. If you have 4 or more units with different card names, this unit gets power 10k until the end of battle. It got changed to when this unit attacks a grade 3 or greater unit, you choose 4 units. If you chose 4 and yada yada yada. So basically they're changing any effect that says if you have this amount of different card names to choose this amount of different card names. Oh, okay. I know why. I think I know why.
Because the fact it's saying the ability to choose, like it's saying it's generalized to now you are specifying what you are doing.
I think I know why. I could be wrong. One of my speculations, is because of dress up type abilities. Because they say during this fight, this card is also regarded as the specified card. So it technically has 2 card names. See what's going on?
Yeah, okay, I see.
So, for example, the old effect said, if you have 4 or more units with different card names. Now, I guess it worked in a sense where, okay, that card had 2 names it couldn't be interpreted this way in Japanese. I don't know. I think that's one avenue of thought. I'm still not 100% sure. Like I said, if anybody really knows, leave it in the comments down below.
Leave it to Lyrical to be breaking shit.
Of course. Moving on. We got new English promo packs or top. So the promo packs for set 3 for the tournament campaign are going to be the same promo packs that were for set 13, Flight of Chakra. I guess this is fine. This feels like they're recycling, but I guess this is fine.
I mean, they're not like absolutely needed cards, but you know.
Yeah.
We'll take
I don't
it.
think these are also going to be the box topper promos. I think the box topper promos might be different. I think this is just the tournament stuff, but who knows? Moving on, real quick, we need to talk about the new anime. So season 2 is slowly approaching, and we're slowly getting some reveals regarding the new Destined characters and their units and stuff like that. For example, we recently got revealed that Yuna Sayonji is going to be our new female character inside of set 2 that will be playing the Fated Card Nation of Lyrical Monasterio.
Looks like a cat girl. She's an influencer streamer, right?
Yes, I believe. The only thing that the tweet says is more details will be revealed at Buster's strategy presentation, which is basically tomorrow, 2 days, yada yada yada, depending on when this drops. So we'll know more information on the stream. Another guy we got is Kyoma Kurosaki, and he will be Dragon Empire. There's a good chance that all of these cards that we're talking about are going to be the new Destined ones, which scares me a little bit, because another Destined one or potential Fated one is we're getting Mukai Jinki back, which means we're getting Alden again, which means we're getting a Destined Alden, maybe?
Destined Alden. I mean, I
honestly think...
I just says catered sanctuary. Obviously, they may spell cater, but...
Yeah, but it also says Fated Card Nation.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of up in the air. Exactly. It's very confusing, and we'll know more in the strategy. I do believe that he won't get a Destined one because they confirmed there's only 5 Destined ones inside of set 4. And more than likely, I would really hope they did this, is it's going to be the 5 nations, and one of them is not going to be Keter. Because Keter already has 2 Fated ones. If they do 5 Destined ones for the other 5 nations, then each nation is going to have 3. It's going to have 3 Fated/Destined ones. So, or no, it's going to have 2 Fated/Destined ones. So not one nation is going to have more than the others, which would be good.
Go back to the other 2 real quick. Just real quick second.
What are you looking for?
One specific detail. Okay, never mind. That doesn't work. I was looking at where it says the Fated Card Nation. It says Fate Card Nation, but technically, if these are supposed to be the Destined one, it wouldn't say Fate Card Nation.
Yeah, exactly.
So like...
See, another character we got now, day 2, is Kane Senka, and apparently she's going to be playing Brentgate.
I mean, from what I'm understanding is that like she is Now's rival. That we
apparently,
I think we saw her in season 1.
Yeah.
What's his name dude, the Wall Street user, was apparently talking to somebody, and it speculated that it's the Dragon Empire dude. So there's that connection. And then the whatchamacallit, the obviously lyrical versus lyrical, some kind of thing. Like there's speculation that there's obviously connections with the Fated and Destined ones. Like this is the KO one going to be going against the Cater one.
Exactly. So only time will tell. It's going to be very interesting. I'm a little bit scared because, like I said, I don't want the Alden getting a Destined one, because that would mean Keter has 3 Destined/Fated ones. It'd be a little bit stupid. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
The second one.
Yeah.
We didn't want the second one.
Hey, she's still good. And I'm saving the best for last. we have our new mascot. Still built is the Destined One little cloud thingy.
Little antelope, dragon thing. I don't even know if I got a giraffe.
Apparently, he's the evil one.
It's so cute. How can it be evil?
I know, right? Anyway, with all that being said, we're gonna end this episode here. Thank you everybody so much for watching episode 221 of E-Time. Hope you guys liked it. Like I said, if you know what's errata happening, leave that comment down below. If you like the videos, please share with your friends, comment down below, yada yada yada. If you like what we do here, subscribe to the channel, ring that bell to get notified, maybe become a member for some awesome perks. But with all that being said, I've been Philip.
I've been Hector.
And we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Woo! Apologies for the rushed ending. Alana's blowing up my phone going, hey, you there? Hello? Hello? Hello?